What day is it today, Chuggalos? That's right. It's the last day. It's the last day of the Brew Crew Podcast Advent Calendar 2025. Day 24. It's Christmas Eve. And here with Santa's Phil. Santa's Phil from Alaska. Actually, truth be known, a little north of Alaska, but we have to kind of keep that information secure. It's secure. It's rated top secret. That's even above my clearance. So not going to reveal the exact location, but I think you kind of get it. Anyway, it is a happy and exciting day, and it's a sad day as well. It's the peak and the finality and the climax of the Advent calendar, in that one of the most special beers of the Advent calendar has been chosen for today. Probably considered by most to be the second most anticipated beer and the second greatest beer we are thinking and hoping of the Advent calendar season. And that is a beer by Masthead, all the way back to Masthead. A beer called Vanilla Sunkiller. Vanilla Sunkiller, or the Thrilla in Vanilla Manila, Vanilla Sunkiller. Nice. It was a very special day. Day 24 was extra special. This is an Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels. Where have we heard that before? Imperial Stout, though, with vanilla. So it's going to be, hey man, this is stout heaven. We're talking 14.9%? Is that right? Am I reading that right? Holy smokes, sports fans. 14.9%. That's a little bit more than an Imperial Stout. That is in barley wine territory. However, it's labeled as a Imperial Stout. So love to hear Gus's comments on this. I haven't read or listened to any, as has been my kind of protocol and my standard for all of this Advent calendar. I have not listened to a single review for today's podcast in anyone else's, because I don't want to be tainted or in my ratings or my scoring or my thoughts or anything. I want to just kind of taste it, and then I want to go back and listen to everyone's comments about this. So I'm looking forward to what Gus has to say about this in today's podcast, particularly where I know his proclivities are to not call American barley wine, but call it American strong ale. And this is kind of no different. We've got a lot of Imperial Stouts that are kind of in the 14 to 15% range that a lot of American beer makers are now making. However, having said that, it's really barley wine territory. So either, let's make a choice here. It's either barley wine, even a triple stout is probably not quite there, but this is a big one. This is a high one, 14.9. So you've heard me say it before in this Advent calendar. I've said it in past Advent calendars before in other podcasts that I've been on. The real call and the real tell for me on whether I don't drink a beer like this just because it has high alcohol content because I want to get buzzed, right? There's plenty of other ways to do that without, drinking something that's really alcohol-y and doesn't taste all that great, but it's got a lot of alcohol in it. So that ship sailed a long time ago, many decades ago for me. Now, when I see something that high, there's an extra burden on the brewer and the beer itself. Show me how you're balanced in a way that doesn't seem boozy, doesn't taste boozy, but has a complex, balanced, rich, deep, wide flavor to it, flavor profile to it. That's what I'm looking for when I see a high ABV content beer. I'm highly anticipating this. I think everybody has. This has been Matt, Greater Matt, and Gus, both from our partners in crime in this at the Barrel House, and who curated these beers for us, have been lauding this and touting this ever since we took ownership of the calendar from them. So really, it's, I don't know, I can't say really anything much more about that. It's just highly anticipated. We're really looking forward to it. And it is the last day, so it's something to celebrate. We want something special to celebrate. And it's Christmas Eve, for Pete's sake. We want to have something special on Christmas Eve and something to celebrate. So here we go with Masthead Vanilla Sunkiller Imperial Stout in bourbon barrel aged. I don't know how many months, probably, I'm guessing maybe 10, 12 months, something like that would typically be. And, you know, let's see what we're looking at here. Golly. It's thick. It's creamy. It is dark brown to black. Not a shocker or surprise to anyone for a stout. Oh, it's got that lovely, just lovely hints on the top notes of bourbon from the barrel, and fruit notes that are beautiful. You can smell some of the sweet characters of it. I'm not getting a whole lot of vanilla like I did the other day. That beer I thought was phenomenal. Let's see, that one was, God, there's been so many of them now. Oh, yeah. What am I talking about? It was the Dogfish Head Triple Decadence. That stout, that was triple barrel aged, 15%. It was basically in the, I mean, that thing was in the same nuclear territory as this one. And man, I tasted all kinds of goodness in that. I gave that a 5.0. So, by the way, just a quick review of this advent calendar. This has got to be, I'm sure it's very interesting by the stats. I'm really anxious and looking forward to seeing Matt's compiled stats of this and how it compares to other years, other advent calendars. Matt the Lesser, Matt the BCP founder, has compiled all the stats for every advent calendar. Has them all in a spreadsheet so we can compare and contrast and report on and look at the variances and the the statistical averages, the means, the medians, the mean distribution is around the norm, and all those kinds of great things, right? The standard deviations of the scores for each beer and overall from the first beer to the last beer, all those sorts of things. I'm looking forward to seeing that for this year. It's been a very interesting year. I think the year started off with a much more solid set of beers than we maybe ever have had, and certainly from last year. And the final beers since the Carriage House episode has been unbelievable. And overall for this year, I already have listed 5 5.0s. 5. Starting with the 450 North Slushy XXL Smoothie Sour Boy back on day 8. That was my first 5.0. And man, the 5s just started falling thicker than flies on a hot summer day, man. We had the Dogfish Head Triple Decadence I scored as a 5.0, the Mortalis and 450 North combination, the Hydra Slush Mellow. That was phenomenal, wasn't it? That was just incredible. The Street Side Barrel Aged Robe, I don't know, that was, no, sorry. Yeah, Street Side Barrel Aged Robe, which was the barrel aged Velvet Donut Stout. I thought that was terrific, 5.0. The Rhine Heist, Mushishushu, love that one. That was a 5.0. So there you have it. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5.0s, and I've got, let's see, I've got a how many 4.75s do I have? 1 4.75, a 4.5, 1, 2 4.25s. Sorry, 3 4.25. So It's rarefied air, man. I got to think this is statistically the best advent calendar we've ever had. There have been, for me anyway, a couple of stinkers in here too, but we kind of expect that, sometimes they're hit and misses, they're trials, they're things that are expected and things that people think will be good. But, when push comes to shove, they turn out not to be ranked all that rated that well. But generally speaking, overall, this calendar was a home run. So again, thanks so much to our partners at the Barrel House, Gus and Matt, for helping put this together. You guys did a magnificent job, and the curation of this was impeccable. 5.5 so far, and I'm hoping that this one's going to be another one. If this one is a 5, it'll be the sixth 5.0 out of 24 beers. That's one quarter, fully a quarter of all the advent calendars are beers are a 5.0. That would be unheard of for me. I think I've had maybe max 2 in the past. Matt will keep me honest on this, but I can remember having either 1 or 2 in the prior advent calendars, never more than that. And now we're talking 5. It's like going through the NFL with a perfect season or something. It's been phenomenal. It's been amazing. Anyway, gosh, I'm sitting here stalling. This thing's just not getting drank, and that's a sin. That's a crime of humanity. So I'm going to go for it right now. Wow. Well, to quote my good friend, my good buddy Matt, the co-founder, Matt the Lesser, off the top rope, off the first sip, it is not a boozy drink at all. I am not tasting the 14.9%. That is smooth. It is smooth and velvety. The texture is thick, and it's not meant to be a smoothie or anything of the sort. It's a straight up brewed as an imperial stout. So but it is thick and rich. The texture is smooth. It is fine, and it's got that residual latent stickiness to it, which is the sweetness, residual sweetness there. All of which comes across. The very first thing you taste in this is the sweetness. Oh, so good. Wow. The vanilla really comes through. The coffee, of course, is there. And again, we talked about this last night and 3 nights ago or something. I kept trying to space the stouts out a little bit, but they kind of all bunched together because they were all excellent. I want to kind of keep them in the end times of the calendar. But we talked about this before. You often get that coffee flavor in a stout, not because there's coffee in the stout, but because they roast the barley. They use two kinds of barley that make the stout dark. One is called chocolate malt, which is especially kind of processed malt. That's roasted, and they also use roasted barley, which is also very dark. And the malt that comes from that gives off the roasted flavor that you're used to tasting, which is not unlike roasted coffee. Roasted coffee beans, roasted barley, they end up turning, and roasted malt, they all end up turning out to be similar in flavor. That you can taste that roasted flavor, that nutty kind of roasted flavor to it. Almost a little bit of a burnt characteristic, but not quite burnt, right? Just roasted. And then there's a toasty character to it too, right? Like it's toasted, that makes this very special indeed, because there's a lot of malty sweetness that you get there that's almost like honey. It's a molassesy, but not quite as dark or heavy as molasses, but a little lighter on the honey side, but definitely heavier than honey. So I would characterize that as molasses in there. Very light molasses that adds a lot of flavor and context and depth to the vanilla and coffee flavors that I'm getting in there. And there's definitely some chocolate flavors in there as well.
I smell that from here.
My wife Elena is saying that she can smell that way out in the dining room. It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. This is really almost like a, it's almost like a, it's almost like a drambuie or a crevassier, kind of a after dinner aperitif maybe. A real sweet, thick, real textured and cloying kind of flavors. There's a lot going on there. It's very deep, and it's got a lot of other things in there. There's dark fruit in there for sure. Mm. The yeast, well, definitely, playing a backseat supporting role in a stout like this, and other high ABV content brews. Definitely plays a role. There's some definite characters that it brings to it. Some of those fruity esters that you're getting off the top, the dark fruit that's coming from it, are those fruity esters that are also infused and informed by the malt itself. So, as the yeast is actually fermenting that malt and turning that sugar into alcohol, the yeast itself is giving off other esters while that's happening, right? And so you wouldn't get dark fruit if you're brewing and those things influence those that dark roast, the roasted barley, chocolate malt. Those things are informing and influencing what the after esters are of the yeast. When the yeast is spent and it's done its job, it's multiplying and creating new yeast to continue to eat and ferment the sugar, basically, and turn that into alcohol and carbonation, kind of a dual process there. That's how that works. And in the meantime, it's giving off those beautiful fruit esters and some of the floral esters that you get sometimes in wheat beer or lagers or even ales. Some of those floral lagers, you get less of that here, right? Because it's really heavily influenced by the fruit. So you get a lot of those fruit esters. It's dark fruit, you're talking, it's real jammy. It's real jammy, like dark berries, like you don't get the tang of a blackberry, but you get the sort of the essence of that. Not, maybe blackberries aren't the right one to focus on. It's other dark fruits as well. Maybe plums, maybe some prunes, raisins, which are really just dried, late harvested grapes themselves. Oh, that's lovely. That is lovely. And the finish just goes on forever. It's great. I get a little brown sugar in there too. It's really complex. There's a lot going on in this beer, and I'm really enjoying it a lot. This is probably, of the list of stouts that we've had, it's going to be tough to compare them because I've already got a stout on the list, which was a triple decadence, really, that I scored as a 5.0. So it's hard to kind of compare and contrast them and say that one is better than the other, because they're quite different in nature. This one is, that one had a lot of, that one, when it opened up, the Dogfish Head triple decadence, when that thing opened up, it was like, when it warmed up a little bit to almost room temperature, just a little bit below room temperature, I kind of let it warm up, and I kind of swirled off a lot of the alcohol, so it burned off, and I was able to actually get down into the brew itself to be able to taste what's in there. It was magic. It just opened up to me. This was right off the bat. Even at 14.9%, this one is special. This one is very special. I love this one. And Matt, Greater Matt, you were dead on, buddy. We were standing there behind the bar. I remember going over the list together. You took those pictures of us. during the November event, the kickoff event. And I remember you saying the Sunkiller, Scott, the Sunkiller's killer. It's going to be amazing. It's my favorite. I said, what's your favorite on the list, man? And you said, I think Vanilla Sunkiller. I can see why now. It's a phenomenal beer. It's just great. It's you know what? I think it's aptly named. I think it's aptly named by Masthead as an Imperial Stout, even though it's 14.9%. I would call it a triple stout probably, but it is, it's got a long finish on it. And you taste everything in that finish. Man, it's just full of all the flavors that I described. There's a cake that JT likes, and he's had it for his birthday a couple of times. His mom makes it for him once in a while. It's called burnt sugar cake. And I taste that. I taste some burnt sugar in there. Just a little hints of that, right? In the syrup. It's really syrupy. It's got a real syrupy kind of feel to it, mouth feel, and the sugar in it, the sweetness in it is very syrupy. Right? There's something right. Syrup is not pure sugar alone, right? When you have maple syrup or something, the syrup is always blueberry syrup. The syrup is thicker and sweeter. It's like drinking a thick sugar, but it has a flavor in it, right? There's a predominant flavor in a syrup that you taste, and that's what I'm tasting here. And it's really special. It's got that vanilla overriding it and permeating it throughout, but not overpowering at all. It's subtle. The vanilla is kind of subtle in it. And then the chocolate also is subtle, but the coffee is a little bit more predominant, but there's a lot of other stuff in there as well. I like the dark fruit. So anyway, I'm going to finish this up because it's Christmas Eve. And I'm going to give it a rating, and it's probably no surprise. I'm going to rank this one as my next and last and other 5.0. It's well deserving of a 5.0. Clearly, I would drink this one again. I would hold it and sit it down and put it in my wine cellar downstairs and see how it lasts for the next year. I think it's going to have a lot of legs. It's going to go 2-3 more years easily, and be drinkable and probably even improve with age. And you can tell, sitting in the bourbon beige, but I didn't even talk about that. Bourbon barrels, right? You got that bourbon flavor, also imparts a syrup to the syrup nature of it. It imparts that fragrance of bourbon, which is a sweet, bourbon's got that sweet nose to it. And there's, and a little bit of a brightness to it, and that's what I'm getting with there too. So all in all to say, phenomenal beer. What a great way to end the Advent calendar for the year. It's a 5.0 for me. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and an extraordinarily happy New Year and a great, terrific 2026 for you all. Looking forward to seeing you guys all next year. And with that, I'm signing off. SFIL signing off, day 24. Good night.